Who else wants some fast ways to stop feeling bad? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 47 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. So we've been talking about yesterday letting go strategies and letting go of emotions and feelings that we don't really want to experience anymore, because there's a whole bunch of those usually in our lives. So I actually picked exercise number 6 yesterday. Choose not to succeed at something or anything that you don't love. And so I decided I do not have to be successful at anything housework or tidying related or cleaning related. Now, I use my vision, and my vision is really bad. I'm legally blind, but I use that as an excuse to be bad at house cleaning. But guess what? I'm just choose not to be good at it because I don't love it. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to clean the kitchen and tidy up the bathroom after myself, but I'm definitely going to have an expert come in behind me and actually do the things that matter when it comes to housework. So today we're going to talk about some of my personal favorite letting go strategies or releasing strategies. Some of the things that I've done that I found really, really helpful in my life. And one of the things I did was several years ago now, when I was still making ravioli. I had my Italian food manufacturing business. I basically, when everybody was off one day, I went into work and I said, okay, I need to find creative, fun, exciting ways to release this whole belief that I'm not good enough or that anybody isn't good enough, right? We're human beings. We're amazing, incredible, freaking miraculous beings in and of ourselves. Just the fact that we exist and have survived up to this point means we are incredible. It doesn't matter, the past. If we're sitting here now and in the present, it means that we're an incredible, valuable, infinitely valuable entity, right, in and of ourselves. So I had for years had this niggling, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy belief. And a lot of us, we pick this up along the way as we're growing up, probably, in grade school or even as far back as, kindergarten, first, second grade. Before we're 6, we form a lot, or truly before we're 7, according to psychologists, we form a lot of our identity, a lot of our beliefs. And then we spend the rest of our life piling on and filing away experiences that support that belief. For Supersize Your Business today, our idiom is to do nothing by halves. And for some reason this morning, that got me thinking about how we do anything is how we do everything. It's a really popular kind of saying right now. And I got to thinking about that. I've actually been thinking about it a lot this morning. And I'm like, is that true for me? And so all of a sudden I caught my brain. But after I asked, is this true for me? How I do anything is how I do everything. All of a sudden I found myself finding evidence of only looking at the ways that would be true for me. Now, overall, if I look at it in a balanced way, it's absolutely positively not true for me. How I do some things, and when I'm making a choice in how I'm going to do something, that is what impacts how I do something, not how I do anything is how I do everything. So I want to say I don't believe in that anymore, and I'm not going to create and find any more evidence for myself that says how I do anything is how I do everything, because it's like so many other things that we believe. It can be true or it can be false depending on the situation. So what are some of these letting go strategies I did? So I took a whole day off of my business, and I had fun with this. I took out my camera at the time and I filmed it. So if anybody's interested in seeing some of those videos, again, they're from years ago before I ever started doing any video. So they're pretty awful, I will admit. But if anybody wants to see them, hit me up in the comments below. But here are some of the ways. I'll share at least 7 to 10 different ways that I creatively found to let go of the I am not good enough emotion. And so I took I am not good enough. And I don't remember what order I did these in, but one of the things I did was I took a marker, I wrote it on toilet paper. I am not good enough. I am not good enough. I just wrote it a couple of times, and I bundled it up, threw it in the toilet, and flushed it down. That was one way I just released that false belief once and for all. It wasn't once and for all, because like anything else, things will come back to remind us or trigger us. So then I decided I would walk down to a place called the Dike. I like to, there's this beautiful place in my small town that's an old half bridge that goes across the river, and it's called the Dike. And so I went down to the Dike, and I took a white dry erase marker, or right, you remember those, the dry erase I don't know, not dry erase, whiteout. If they even, I think they probably still make whiteout. I don't use it anymore. That was back in the days before everything was digital and we had to actually use correction fluid and things. And if anybody knows what correction fluid still is, I guess I'm dating myself here, but I took some of that and I wrote it on a rock, not good enough, and I just threw it into the river. Now, before you say that's polluting, there's a whole lot of worse things in our river right now than my little bit of whiteout written on one tiny or little rock. I guess it wasn't a tiny rock. It was a pretty good sized rock. Then another thing I did is I took a dry erase marker and I wrote on the mirror that we had in the bathroom. And then I took some foamy bathroom cleaner and I cleaned it off with paper towel and then threw the paper towel away. Not good enough. I took a dry erase board and did the same thing. I just wrote it on a dry erase board and wiped it off. That's not very creative. And I didn't think that it made me feel, it didn't make me laugh or feel really any emotion associated with it. So I'm not sure how powerful that was. I also, I wrote it on a balloon, not good enough. And this one probably isn't good for the environment or the birds, but I did blow up a balloon, write it on a balloon, not good enough. And then I released it in the back of my shop, in the back of my business. My most fun one, I think the one I had the most fun with and I felt the most release with was I had a little can upstairs of my business was a bar. And so they had these little cans that they used to be able to buy. You could get like a bucket of beers at happy hour and things. So I took one of the buckets for a bucket of beers and I wrote not good enough on a bunch of Post-it notes and pieces of paper, crumbled them up, threw them in this little bucket, and then lit it on fire. I think that was my favorite one and still is my favorite one today. I like burning things up. I wrote it on paper towels and then just crumbled them up and threw them away. I wrote, I'm not good enough. Actually, the paper towels I put in dishwasher and watched the ink just kind of come off it. That was pretty fun. I actually, since I was at my shop, I got some ravioli out and on a plate, I wrote not good enough. And then I put some ravioli in sauce over ravioli and then I ate it. That was a good one too. I also made some noodles that in the shape of not good enough, boiled them up and ate them. So, you know, is that like ingesting not good enough? No, it's destroying it once and for all and letting it go. So those are some of the ways. And what else did I did some other things too, but that's just a few ideas. I think why it felt so good and worked is because I found creative, funny, outrageous ways to get rid of this thing and get rid of this feeling. Now, interestingly enough, when I went from the offline world and came online in 2017, I found myself comparing myself to others again. And so even though and that was probably the first time in a long time I felt that way. But when we find ourselves in new situations, sometimes old feelings come up. So what did I do? I did some of the same activities on comparing myself to others. I think I did some negative ones and then I replaced the negative ones with I'm unique and as long as I'm being myself, there is no competition, things like that. And so we get rid of these feelings and these emotions and the thoughts and the beliefs behind them because the feelings come from, we feel something in our body, we get this physical reaction, that's an emotion, right? And then we think about that either on a subconscious or conscious level, and that's where the feelings come from. And we feel like we're not good enough. I don't know that where in your body you feel not good enough. I'll feel it here. I'll feel it in the back of my neck. I'll feel it in my stomach. We all have different places where we feel different emotions or we experience different emotions that trigger different feelings in us. And then that gets our mind and our beliefs all going. And once we get our thoughts going, guess what? It's just like me and the how I do anything is how I do everything thought. I start finding evidence to make that true for me. That's why it's so important that we pay attention to what we tell ourselves every day, what we think about, what we feel, and we make it feel the things we want to feel and really difficult or almost impossible to feel the things we don't want to feel. All right, so our action item today is to come up with, well, pick one emotion or one feeling that you really just don't want to experience anymore. I'm going to do irritation or impatience. Maybe impatience. That might be better than irritation because I don't get irritated till after I've been impatient. So I'm going to do and come up with, I don't know what I'm going to do today yet, but I'm going to come up with some fun and creative and different way. And it doesn't have to be. If you want to do it just any old way, write it on a piece of paper, tear it into little pieces and throw it away. Well, that's another thing I did. I wrote it on pieces of paper and I sent it through the shredder. And then another time I just tore it up. But it felt better to send it through the shredder because it was in a lot smaller pieces. So find what feels good to you. If it feels good to you, it's working. So pick something that you want to minimize or eliminate, and then find a creative way to get rid of it. And then share in the comments below either what you got rid of or what you did. I'd say what you did would be the most powerful for helping other people and paying it forward in terms of positively impacting the world by sharing what did you do, because that might trigger ideas in the rest of us. All right, that's it for today. Have an awesome day. Any questions, hit me up. If anybody wants that video or that series of videos, I will go find them. I meant to find them yesterday, but I got busy with other activities and other things I said I was going to do and other commitments, so I did not find that video. I actually had a technical problem that I had to fix too on one of my software things, so I didn't have to, but I wanted to learn and figure out why it wasn't working. So questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Have an absolutely amazing day and have fun with letting something go from your life.